session. I want to thank everybody who's tuned in on our Twitch page and also now tuned in on the YouTube channel as well. So once again, down to about 60 seconds remaining in the qualifying session. Let's do the full intro again here for everybody who was unable to see us on YouTube while that was getting fired up. Welcome to the Lanier National Speedway. My name is Chris Graham. It's a pleasure to be with you here on a very steamy, hot Tuesday night right outside of Philadelphia. More importantly, let's show you the weather conditions here. We talked with some of the drivers pre-race, and one of the big issues they were talking about was going to be the weather conditions. 84 degrees, the ambient temperature, 62% humidity. Winds out of the northwest, I guess we could say here, at about 8 miles an hour, 86-degree track temperature. The number was 81 degrees is what they were talking about for an optimal track temp. 86 is getting on the higher side of that. We'll see how this may play out here over the course of the night, because the drivers were talking about the possibility of the track really getting locked down or having issues getting the car to turn at all, depending on what the conditions were like. You'd go from push tight to loose to everything else in between here as cars are getting out on the starting grid. And let's give you a look at that grid and how they'll take the green flag this evening. Ryan Sellers and Dan Smith will make up row number 1. Gwendolyn Old and Jim Vigg on row number 2. Row 3 will see Kyle Mooney and Jeffrey Stanton lining up alongside one another. Timothy Watson and Joe Adams in row number 4. Row 5, Chris Janke and Derek Love. Row number 6, Jason Brown and Jesse Hodgson. Josh Batista, Ron Quinzel in row number 7. Austin Miller and Rich Foreman in row number 8. Brian Payne, Wally Reardon on row number 9. Zach Evans, Mike Bandini in row number 10. Row 11, Jason Steinhurst and Edward Marshall. Row 12, Sam Johnston and Jason Gerlnick. Row number 13, Spencer Steinman and Mike Lefholz. They will round out the field here. 13 rows, 26 cars going to take the grid for the longest race by far of the Sprint Cup Series season. The Sprint Car Cup, I guess we should probably technically be saying here. 76 laps around the Lanier National Speedway. They do one of these every year. This is a very long race. Handling is going to go away in a big-time way for these cars, to the point that some cars towards the back of the lead lap may even elect to come in and take fuel under a late caution just to try to get the rear end of the car settled down a little bit. This one should be a good one here. 76 laps. Caution laps will not count. Seeing one of our friends checking into Weather Center. Peter, Amy, I'm not sure who that is, says you should do our weather. I've only been on you guys for about a year for this one. Green flags out. We're underway here at Lanier, and it's a great start for Ryan Sellers. He'll lead the field into turn number 1. Side-by-side battle back there for the 5th position. Kyle Mooney and Jeffrey Stanton. Trouble on the racetrack. Caution flag is out. Kind of no surprise there that we would get an early caution flag. That's one of the big issues that you have here with a lot of these race cars in very tight quarters. You're going to see a lot of messed up race cars here pretty early on here. Let's get you the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Early issues for Austin Miller. Keep an eye on that number 13 machine. May have gotten a little bit of help. Oh, and then big time gets absolutely drilled. A couple of cars, in fact, 4 cars coming to a stop down there to the inside of turn number 2. Putting us under the first caution flag of the night. Jason Steinhurst, Spencer Steinman, Edward Marshall also involved in that incident. So getting back to the comments here. Lindsey Britt checking in, saying hi. Hello, good evening, Lindsey. Tough break for your Sixers there last week. we don't really follow basketball around here, so I really couldn't tell you what the deal is. Other than, what is it, Ben Simmons can't shoot, right? Why does the guy wear shooting sleeves if he can't shoot? Coming back to our friends from the Weather Center. Coming up this weekend, we were out at the fields yesterday. The DeWeather Cares Charity Softball Classic. My goodness, is this going to be a spectacular time. You won't want to miss any of the action. Charity slow pitch softball benefiting 8 charities across eastern Pennsylvania. The entire DeWeather team has put a ton of work into this, and quite frankly, they're raising a ton of money too. So looking forward to that one this Saturday. And yes, you guys should do the weather for us. Pace car is off at turn number 4. Green flag is going to go back in the air. Ryan Sellers going to lead the field to green. Restarts her single file. See if we're able to get a couple of laps in the book here. The single file, well, maybe not. Say the single file restarts often can help, but maybe not. Trouble on the racetrack for Zach Evans. This was actually coming right to the green flag. Carlo having a little bit of a connection issue just in front of him. Wow, what a piece of evasive driving, whoever that was. May have been Jason Gerlnick. Let's see if we can't get an onboard here from that one. Here is the instant replay. Watch this one. You'll see Evans' car come around. Big slide opposite lock. Oh, man. Oh, it's one way to keep yourself out of trouble. Nice piece of driving there, Mr. Gerlnick. Once again, caution laps do not count here in the iRacing Sprint Car Cup. And we talked a little bit about what's coming up this weekend. Let's get you through the rest of the evening and the rest of this week. Coming up at the conclusion of this race, or about 9:45, depending on where we are on time here, going to be the Carolina Simworks TNT PM18 All Oval Series. Those guys heading off to the Bristol Motor Speedway. PM18s on the high banks of Bristol is going to be absolutely epic to watch. Coming up tomorrow night, the TNT Series is back again for their once-a-month train wreck of a series. A glorious night of destruction, I think, is what you're going to see here. Slocano, the 4 slowest cars on the iRacing platform, racing at the Tricky Triangle. So lights are out on the iRacing safety car. Another doubleheader coming up on Thursday night. Doubleheader on Friday night. The Weather Center on Saturday. Man, we got a ton to talk about here over the course of this next couple of hours. We'll be on the air with you. First, let's see if we can get some sprint car racing in here. Green flag's going to go in the air. We're back underway. Still going to be Ryan Sellers at the pointy end of the field. Lap counter is going to be a little bit off here until the field comes around. We're actually only working lap number 3. However, the cars that crashed and left the server here are going to start to fall to the back here as the field starts to come around them. Field really getting settled in now. Ryan Sellers still your race leader. Let's slide back in the pack here just a little bit, pick up a nice little battle starting to form up here with Kyle Mooney, Timothy Watson, Joe Adams, and Chris Jenke. 4 cars within a couple seconds, but unfortunately that's going to come to a pretty quick end here as we're going to go back under the caution flag. Take a look here and see what happened. I believe it may have been an incident here for Jim Vig off the corner. Very slight contact with the inside retaining wall. Problem for Vig now is he's got to try to get the car spun back around the right direction, and Yeah, he's going to have to take the tow back into the pit area. Tough break for Jim Vig. The tow is not incredibly long here, but long enough that he may not be able to get back out onto the racetrack. Sounds like some cars having some issues here under the caution flag. We'll see what that one may mean here coming up. But still working laps under caution, and it's going to be, I believe, lap number 7 that we will be coming back to. See, we're going to get the caution lights off on the iRacing safety car this time by. I believe we should. Yep, there you go. The lights are out. So we're going to be going back to green flag racing here. Seven and a half minutes actually, in about 7 laps completed in this one. All but a couple have been run under the caution flag. And again, the caution laps do not count here. So we're going to go back to green flag racing. And it's early, but let's give you guys a chance to crank it up. Lap number 11 of 76, Gwendolyn Old and Kyle Mooney battling for the 4th position. Ryan Sellers holding on to a half-second lead over Dan Smith. It's another half-second back to Jeffrey Stanton, and another half here back to the 11 of Gwendolyn Old. Big move to the outside by Gwendolyn Old. Nice pass there. The outside lane may start to come in here a little bit as the weather conditions change. What a fantastic side-by-side battle this one is. Timothy Watson looking the inside. Oh, right as we say that, they're going around. Drivers meeting turn 4. The 12 of Jason Brown, you can't park there. Oh, man, they're still spinning them around here, trying to get on the binders. Issue may have started here with Chris Janke. Let's take a look here and see. Keep your eye on that black number 6 machine. Everybody getting up on the binders. Derek Love definitely got a little piece of the action there. Right at the end here, you're going to see, yeah, the 26. Man, another fantastic piece of driving there by Jason Gerlnick. Having to get on the binders, snap the car to the inside to keep from absolutely plowing into Jason Brown. So we'll head back to the front of the field here and see who's going to be coming around already early on here. Some cars potentially out of the race. Looks like Joe Adams, who is currently being scored in the 23rd position, is not being shown as on the racetrack. Same is true for Zach Evans. He's currently being scored in 26th. Spencer Steinman, a bunch of laps down, as is Jason Steinhurst, Austin Miller, Mike Bandini as well. See if we can get a quick word in here with Derek Love. And Derek, looked like you may have gotten a little piece of that last incident. How does the car feel?
Man, I was a meat inside the taco on that one, buddy. Car feels pretty good. Josh behind me came up, checked it out, said I got a little dent in the front end, but I think we're going to be all right. We'll find out.
All right, Derek, thank you very much. We'll let you get back to green flag racing here. Ryan Sellers once again going to lead the field into green. Lap 16 of 76 on the scoreboard. When you get turning laps under green, they go in a very, very big hurry. Jeffrey Stanton starting to get a little antsy here, looking up on the high side of Dan Smith. Smith running down on the apron in turns 1 and 2. A little bit higher on the racetrack through 3 and 4. See if he's going to run that same line to the inside. Yeah, he does. Getting the left-hand tires on the apron will really help pitch the car through the corner. But it's allowing Jeffrey Stanton to not have to run as high on the racetrack to get side by side. Drivers were talking about how critical tire wear was going to be this evening, as it always is with the Silver Crown cars and the Sprint Cup cars that we're watching tonight. Slide back in the pack here just a little bit. Pick up this battle with Rich Foreman and Brian Payne. Foreman going to run down to the inside. Payne going 2, almost 3 lanes high up the racetrack, trying to get the pass completed in 1 and 2. Almost as high through 3 and 4. Foreman doing a nice job keeping that number 7 Rich Foreman photography entry way down to the inside. This one's a 2-car battle as we work lap number 25. A little bit further up the racetrack here, Timothy Watson leading a 4-car train down the back straightaway and into turn number 3. Best lap of the race belongs to Ryan Sellers. Lap time of 12.241 seconds. Last lap time 12.437. So they're down a couple of tenths off of where they were seeing their best laps earlier in the race, but they're not a ways off of that just yet. See the 26 machine of Jason Gerlnick getting up out of the way. Look towards the front here. How about Dan Smith getting in? About 3/4 of a second back of Ryan Sellers. Smith and Jeffrey Stanton will battle here coming through lap traffic. That's the 24 of Mike Bandini that Smith is having a little bit of an issue getting around here, and he is losing some time to Ryan Sellers. Sellers able to open up the gap and hold it right about 1 second here. Call it 8 tenths as they head through turns 1 and 2 this time. Slide back in the pack, pick up this 5-car train here is 16 to Timothy Watson, going to make the move inside of the 13 of Austin Miller. Miller clears up out of the way. Gwendolyn Old, Derek Love, Josh Batista, they're part of that battle as well. We said once they get logging laps, it's going to go by in a hurry. How about we're almost to the halfway point already? It took us 7 minutes to go 7 laps, and it's taken us 15 minutes to go 36 laps now on the scoreboard. about this? Ryan Sellers really got bottled up in lap traffic. That has allowed Dan Sellers to get within 0.4 of a second. Jeffrey Stanton there as well. This is now going to be a 3-car shootout for the race lead. Cross flags are up halfway home here at Lanier National Raceway. The traffic's only going to get more intense here because you have lapped cars that are lapping other cars. You can get around here 2 wide. 3 wide is not easy, and quite frankly, some drivers get to be a little bit skittery in the hands when the race leaders are coming up on them. Jeffrey Stanton looking to the outside of Dan Smith. Still not close enough to attempt to pass on the 47. They're staying within about a half second of the race leader. This is about the time of the race where Ryan Sellers might not mind a caution flag because second, third are not going to gain any additional time on him, but he's going to be able to clear out the lap traffic a little bit. Moves to the inside of the 22 into turn number 1. Sellers completes the pass. We mentioned the drop off in lap times. They're now about a half second slower. 12.646 seconds the last lap time for Ryan Sellers. We're down to 31 laps remaining. Here's Jeffrey Stanton to the inside. Big dive bomb into turn number 1. What a pass there by Jeffrey Stanton. Going to slide a little bit high off of turn number 4. Almost gets the outside retaining wall. Smith looking back to the inside. Stanton able to keep that car wound up on the outside, but it may not make a difference here. Stanton has them clear now, but too much momentum to get the car pinched down into the corner. Stanton finally completes the pass here at lap number 49. So this dogfight's allowed Ryan Sellers to get back out to an 0.8 of a second lead. Stanton and Smith are really going to have to close in here on the race leader if they're going to want to have a shot here, as we're down to 25 laps to go already here at Lanier. Out of here, race fans. One more time before we get to the end of this thing. I'll give you a shot to crank it up. Caution flag back out on the racetrack. Take a look here. May have been Jason Steinhurst that had an issue here. Let's take a look and see. There he is, coming to a rest up against the outside retaining wall, and he's got to take the tow back into the pit area. As we work under the caution flag here, see if we can't get a word in with Jeffrey Stanton. Jeffrey, the car looks pretty good here, and that caution was just what you needed to get right up on the back bumper of Ryan Sellers here.
help me get closer to Ryan, but I don't know if they'll help me out too much. Track temps spiked apparently from what I've heard mid-race, but I don't know. If I'm not too tight, I'll try to see if I can get this outside working on Ryan, but I don't know. Hats off to him though. Apparently he's racing without 4C back tonight or some deal. So hats off to him, because that is incredibly difficult in this car.
I was going to say that's you need every bit of tactile feedback you can get, and yeah, the track temps have spiked. 84 degree ambient, 92, 93 degree track temperatures is what we're seeing here. So good luck holding on to that thing on this slick racetrack the rest of the way.
Yep, thank you, and hopefully we'll have a clean race the rest of the race here. That early start was kind of messy, so apparently I heard someone was wrecking or yell or something. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I hope people just chill out here.
There you go. There's Jeffrey Stanton currently running in the second position. Yeah, we had a little bit of a mess here early on. Down to, it looks like 14 cars remaining on the lead lap of the 26 that started this race. Green flag goes back in the air. Ryan Sellers going to be your race leader. Jeffrey Stanton staying within a car length and a half as they work through 3 and 4. Stanton not going quietly into that good night. Keeping right with Ryan Sellers. Caution flag back out on the speedway. Trouble for Ron Quinzel. Get to the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. See what happened to the number 8 machine. Oh, just clipped the outside retaining wall hard into the attenuator pit opening, or racetrack exit, I guess you would say. Ron Quinzel goes for a pretty wild tumble down there into turns 3 and 4. Once again, working under the caution flag here. See if we can't pull in Josh Batista, get a quick word with him. And Josh, what's it like there in the back of the pack here? Things have been pretty clean up front, but mid-pack has been an absolute mess tonight.
Absolutely. There's literally no room here at Linear, so it's just nice and tight. The race is just ridiculous.
Well, good luck the rest of the way here. How's the car feeling? Do you think you got a little, at least a handful more cars you might be able to get around?
Yeah, I saved a bit there mid-race in the middle of that run there, so I think we got something for maybe, hopefully, top 5. We'll see what happens.
All right, there you go, Josh. Thank you very much. We appreciate the time, and I like getting to check in with drivers throughout the field here. As we should get the one-to-go signal this next time by the start-finish line. So what do you think, race fans? Let us know in the comments here. Where are you watching from? Who's your pick? Is it going to be Ryan Sellers? The forced feedbackless Ryan Sellers. That's impressive. Can Jeffrey Stanton, Dan Smith, Kyle Mooney, or Timothy Watson make a run at the front here? We're going to find out. Green flag goes back in the air. Once again, Stanton holding on pretty close, but just not able to make the move here. He's going to try it outside through 3 and 4. Try to get that number 94 machine wound up in a big way, but it may cost him here unless he can get slotted back in line. If you don't complete the pass, you at least don't want to lose the position you have. Once again, big power move by Stanton into turn number 1. Sellers covering the bottom lane on corner exit. making that message clear to Jeffrey Stanton. If you're going to get me, you're going to have to do it the hard way. Sellers now able to go open the gap up a hair, but I mean, you're talking a couple of tenths here. In fact, car length and a half maybe. We're pretty rapidly approaching 10 laps remaining here. Stanton falling back just a little bit. Let's slide back in the pack here. Pick up Brian Payne and Derek Love. Those cars fighting side by side. Sounds like somebody's made some contact out there, and that will bring out the caution flag. Take a look here. May have been trouble for Wally Reardon in the 22. Yeah, that car just got way loose. Big old tank slapper. Just about had it saved, and then the car finishes snapping around off of turn number 4. Checking into the comments, Ryan Lacombe saying he's watching from Feeding Hills, where, I'm not sure, but Feeding Hills. And his pick's going to be Ryan Sellers to win tonight. Not the worst way you could go on this one. Sellers, the highest I-rated driver in the field. 4.99, a license 5869. The I rating for Ryan Sellers. Jeffrey Stanton also over 5,000 in I rating, the same topped out A level license class as well. Overall strength of field 24.19 on the evening. So pretty good strength of field here as well. Run you back through some of the cars here. They're going to be out of the race. Zach Evans will finish in the 26th position. Joe Adams 25th. Jason Brown in 24th. 23rd to Jason Steinhurst. Spencer Steinman currently running in the 22nd position. However, he does have, I believe, enough laps that he may be able to get around Ron Quinzel, who was out of the race and in the 21st position. Austin Miller still on the racetrack, running in 20th, but 6 laps down to the race leaders. Michael Bandini, Jason Gerlnick, Jim Vig, Wally Reardon, Edward Marshall, Mike Lefholz, and Sam Johnson all being scored multiple laps down here to the race leaders. So lights are out on the iRacing safety car. We're getting ready to come back to a good old-fashioned Saturday night shootout. The long endurance race is really going to boil down to a 9-lap dash for the win. Jeffrey Stanton sends it deep into turn number 1. He's going to stay within a half car length. He knows he's got to get the job done early on the restart, but man, that car, big old tank slapper off of turn number 4. Nice job by Stanton to not lose much ground. He may have to settle in and ride just a little bit here. Good fight developing for the 3rd position between Dan Smith and Kyle Mooney. Smith still running that deep inside lane, getting the left-hand tires down below and onto the apron in turns 1 and 2. Sellers and Stanton both taking that line as well here. 5 to go here at Lanier. Ryan Sellers, Jeffrey Stanton going to continue their battle for the race lead as we hit the 30-minute mark. Who's it going to be? Ryan Sellers or Jeffrey Stanton? Sellers has led every lap from the drop of the green flag. Now 3 to go, and the top 3 are all getting tight on top of each other, and lap traffic may come into play. 2 to go. Stanton still fighting that loose race car on corner exit. Just have to be so darn ginger with the throttle. This is it. White flag is out. One more lap to go for Ryan Sellers. That car has been unreal this evening, and he's going to hold it down, lock it down off of turn number 4. Checkered flag in the air. Ryan Sellers picks up the win. Jeffrey Stanton going to come home second. Dan Smith in the 3rd position. As Ryan Sellers burns him down, let's get you the official race results. Ryan Sellers with a win by half a second over Jeffrey Stanton. Coming home in the 3rd position is Dan Smith. Kyle Mooney, Timothy Watson round out your top 5. Chris Yankee, Josh Batista, Gwendolyn Old, Derek Love, Rich Form in the top 10. 11 to 15, Jesse Hodgson, Brian Payne, Sam Johnson, Mike Lefholes, and Edward Marshall. Jim Vig, Josh Gerlnick, Mike Bandini, Austin Miller, and Wally Reardon back through the 20th position. Spencer Steinman, Ron Quinzel, Jason Steinhurst, Jason Brown, Joe Adams, and Zach Evans will round out your field this evening. Absolutely fantastic night of racing so far. Let's pick up first our race winner here tonight. Get the victory lane interview with Ryan Sellers. And Ryan, that car was absolutely incredible, but apparently you didn't have forced feedback at all this evening. So how are you controlling that thing?
I'm absolutely surprised to be talking to you right now, Chris, to be honest. Yeah, it's got halfway through the practice session earlier this evening and had force feedback and everything was great. Went in and made a gear change and came back out and something my wheel must have let go. And it was honestly probably one of the sketchiest races I've ever raced in the sprint car. So, yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah, wild. And I would imagine some of the early cautions were not real comforting to you either, knowing you were going to have to play that game on the restart. You really never got a chance to settle in and really log laps until almost halfway.
Yeah, for sure. I was hoping, them last 2 cautions really killed me with Jeff being behind me. Knew Dan wasn't going to pressure me being my teammate, so he knew the problems I was having, so he wasn't going to put any hardcore pressure on me, and I know Jeff was going to try, and he did on the outside, and luckily I was able to hold him off, and definitely worked the right pedal tonight, and definitely helped with the force feedback issue. It's very hard to know when the car's stepping out with no force feedback, so it was glad the car stayed under me. He built a nice set for me this evening that's nice and stable and obviously fast enough to get the win tonight.
Well, Ryan, congratulations on the win and another fantastic points night for you as well here, bud. Who do you want to thank?
I want to thank you guys for broadcasting. Dan Smith, Rich Foreman, Jason Brown, DRR Speedworks, Leary Shock Technology. You guys helped me out a lot tonight, and just glad to finish the race, honestly.
Well, there you go. There's your race winner, Ryan Sellers. Pick up 2nd place, Jeffrey Stanton. Jeffrey, you were telling us the car was getting to be a handful there, but man, you still went full send a couple of times on Ryan there on those last restarts.
Yeah, I tried my best trying to get that outside to work. It wasn't going to stick. It was just track temp got so hot. It just no grip out there.
Well, it was a really good drive for you this evening. You're up 4 spots from where you qualified, and I know the early cautions sort of helped with that a little bit, but you still had a really difficult race. 76 laps around Lanier is not an easy task.
Nah, it's a long one for sure. Fast if it goes green, but obviously it didn't go green early there. But nah, it's just the track was really hard to chase tonight because it was like earlier practices, it was like really cold, and then in the race it went from cold to hot. So
yeah, we're just watching it coming across the start-finish line practically sideways there at the checkered, and then bidding it in turn 1. I just absolutely unreal job of car control tonight by all of you guys up at the front. So congratulations on the podium. Who would you like to thank?
Apple Auto Parts of Rockwell, North Carolina, everyone else that supports me, and iRacing for this platform, and then y'all for broadcasting.
All right, sir. Well, thank you very much. Hopefully we're talking to you again next week and pick up our 3rd place finisher this evening here, Dan Smith, who had an interesting evening, ran second for a lot of it, qualified on the outside of the front row. Ultimately, Dan, Ryan mentioned that he kind of felt the teammate pressure wouldn't be coming on those late restarts. Is that ultimately, by not pressuring Ryan, what allowed Jeffrey to get by?
No, I honestly started over driving the car a little bit, running it in a little too deep there midpoint of the race when I let Ryan get away from me, and we all talked about it under the caution, and by that time Jeffrey done got by me, and you know, it's like I told you last week, Chris, those guys are going to be fighting for a championship this year, so that's kind of in the back of my head. I'm going to miss some races, so I really don't want to screw anybody's season up by forcing something that I don't really feel comfortable putting the car in that position, if that makes sense to you.
Absolutely. That's the gentlemanly way to drive a race car, that's for sure. And ultimately, you're still scoring a bunch of points here. A fantastic third-place finish for you tonight. Who do you want to thank?
Need to give a shout out to my DRR Speedworks teammates, man. Ryan Sellers, Rich Foreman, Jason Brown, Derek Love. I know he's one of your faves, man. He's been running our DR, actually my personal setups for the last few weeks, man. And I don't know how he done tonight, but hopefully he had a good race. But like I told you last week, man, real life sponsors that help me on my real life deals. Setzer Fabricating out of Columbus, Indiana. Rich Foreman Photos, RELSI out of Memphis. Keith Coons Motorsports, KKM, and Chris, as usual, man, you brother. I love the fact that you broadcast these things on Tuesday nights, and I hope you stick around a while. And a shout out to all my little micro racers friends up at US 24 Speedway in Logansport, Indiana.
There you go, bud. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate it. And yeah, I think we're going to hang around here. These sprint cars are a ton of fun to watch. So thank you very much, brother. Good luck the rest of this season. And with that, we're going to wrap things up here pretty darn quickly because it's time to go Carolina SimWorks TNT PM18 All Oval Series racing. So we're going to step away now and come back here in just a couple of minutes. You don't want to miss any of this action coming up tonight. For everybody here at the National Racing Network, my name is Chris Graham. It's been a pleasure to have you with us here for the sprint cars. Don't go anywhere. PM18s are coming up next.